am Alistair Saxon, a hunter of the shadows, a seeker of the truth behind the legends that haunt our world. My life's work has taken me to the far corners of the earth, where I have faced creatures and forces that defy explanation. Yet nothing could prepare me for what awaited me in the cursed village of Blackwood, England. The tale begins with a letter, a cry for help from an old friend, Dr. Eleanor Wren. She'd been studying the history of Blackwood, a remote village tucked away in the dense forests of the English countryside. Her research had uncovered something troubling, a pattern of strange occurrences, unexplained disappearances, and a legend that spoke of a curse. The villagers were changing, their behavior becoming increasingly erratic, their eyes filled with a feral hunger. They were transforming into werewolves. I arrived in Blackwood on a cold, foggy night, the village cloaked in an eerie silence, the moon hidden behind a thick layer of cloud. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, as if the very land itself was warning me to stay away. I was greeted by Dr. Wren, her face pale and drawn, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. She led me to her study, where she showed me her research, her findings, her theories. The village of Blackwood had a dark history, a tale of betrayal, murder, and a pact with the devil. It was said that the original settlers had made a deal with a demonic entity, trading their souls for prosperity and power. But the deal had come at a price, a curse that lingered through the generations, a darkness that had been awakened. The recent transformations were no random occurrences. They were the result of a conspiracy, a plan set in motion by someone within the village, someone who knew the secret of the curse and was using it for their own twisted purpose. Dr. Wren believed that the key to unraveling the mystery lay in the village's past, in the hidden archives, the forgotten diaries, the ancient rituals. But she also knew that we were not alone, that someone was watching, waiting, ready to strike. I spent the next few days diving into the village's history, searching for clues, piecing together the puzzle. The people of Blackwood were guarded, their faces marked by a wary distrust, their words carefully chosen. But I could see the fear in their eyes, the knowledge that something was not right, that the village was under a shadow, a cloud that was growing darker with each passing day. I discovered that the werewolf transformations were not random, that they were targeted, calculated, part of a plan. The victims were chosen for a reason, their lives sacrificed for a greater purpose. And that purpose was connected to the village's curse, to the dark secret that lay at the heart of Blackwood's history. I found the first clue in the diary of a long-dead priest, a man who had witnessed the original pact, who had tried to stop it, to save the village from damnation. His words were filled with a desperate urgency, a warning that echoed through the centuries. The curse was real, and it was active, a force that could be harnessed, controlled, used. And someone in the village was doing just that, turning the people into werewolves, building an army, preparing for something big. But what? And why? The answers were elusive, hidden behind a web of deceit, a maze of secrets that seemed to lead nowhere. I continued my investigation, uncovering more clues, more connections, more pieces of the puzzle. The village was a tangled mess of lies and hidden agendas, a place where nothing was as it seemed, where everyone had something to hide. And the more I dug, the more I realized that the conspiracy was bigger than I had thought, that it reached beyond the village, into the halls of power, into the very heart of darkness. But time was running out. The transformations were increasing, the werewolves growing in number, the plan moving forward, the danger escalating. I knew that I had to act, to find the truth, to stop the conspiracy, to save the village and the people I had come to care about. But I also knew that I was being watched, that the enemy was close, that the battle had only just begun. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity and intrigue as I delved deeper into the dark heart of Blackwood's curse. I unearthed ancient texts, spoke with village elders who still remembered whispers of old legends, and investigated secret rituals performed under the cover of night. Each discovery unveiled another layer of the conspiracy, another piece of a puzzle that was becoming increasingly complex and disturbing. The werewolf transformations were not merely a series of random attacks, but a systematic and deliberate plan orchestrated by someone or something hiding in the shadows. Dr. Wren and I were also becoming increasingly aware that our investigation was being monitored. More than once, we felt unseen eyes watching us, and mysterious figures were spotted lurking around the village's edge. The curse's origin was traced back to a hidden chamber beneath Blackwood's old church. The chamber contained dark artifacts and cryptic symbols linked to a demonic entity known only as the Master. This entity had bestowed the curse upon the village's original settlers, binding them and their descendants into a pact of blood and power. The werewolves were being used as pawns in a grander scheme, a plot to resurrect the Master and unleash his power upon the world. The orchestrators of this plot were a secret society within Blackwood that called themselves Pack. Their ranks included influential villagers, individuals who had become completely consumed by the curse's influence. Despite the increasing danger, we pressed on, driven by a sense of urgency and responsibility. The full moon's approach meant more transformations and a growing sense of dread permeating the village. The Pack's plan was nearing completion, and we needed to act. With the help of a few trustworthy villagers, we managed to infiltrate one of the Pack's secret gatherings. Cloaked in shadows, we observed a chilling ceremony where newly transformed werewolves were inducted into the Pack's ranks, their humanity replaced by a primal hunger controlled by their dark masters. What we saw was both horrifying and enlightening. It became clear that the werewolves were only part of a broader plan involving ancient rituals, hidden relics, and an impending dark convergence that would fully awaken the Master. We had learned enough to disrupt the Pack's plans, but doing so would be perilous. The Pack was well connected and deeply entrenched within the village. Exposing them without concrete proof would likely put us in grave danger, and we were running out of time. Our breakthrough came when we discovered the hidden diary of Blackwood's original priest, who had battled the Master and managed to seal him away. His writings contained a ritual that could reverse the curse, freeing the werewolves from the Pack's control and preventing the Master's resurrection. With the full moon only days away, we set our plan into motion, a desperate gamble that would either save Blackwood or plunge it further into darkness. The ritual required rare and dangerous ingredients, each tied to Blackwood's history and the curse's origin. We embarked on a race against time, gathering what we needed while evading the Pack's ever-watchful eye. Each step was fraught with peril, taking us into haunted woods, ancient ruins, and hidden catacombs. We faced trials and traps designed to protect the curse's secrets, each one a test of our resolve and determination. As we neared the ritual's completion, the Pack's activity intensified. They sensed that something was amiss, their desperation growing as their dark plan's success hung in the balance. Finally, on the night of the full moon, with the storm clouds gathering and Blackwood's fate hanging by a thread, we were ready. The ritual's components were assembled, the ancient words prepared, the battle lines drawn. The werewolves were gathering, summoned by the pack for the final ceremony that would awaken the Master. We knew that this was our only chance to strike, to disrupt their plans, to free the cursed villagers, and to face the darkness that had haunted Blackwood for generations. As the moon rose, we made our move, our hearts filled with determination, our minds focused on the task at hand, our spirits guided by a higher calling. The battle for Blackwood's soul had begun, and we were all that stood between the village and an abyss of eternal darkness. The full moon shone brightly over the village of Blackwood, casting a silver glow on the ancient church where the ritual to awaken the Master was about to take place. Dr. Wren and I, along with a handful of brave villagers, stealthily approached the site, each of us knowing that we were engaging in a battle that might cost us our lives. The ominous howling of werewolves echoed through the night, sending chills down our spines. As we neared the church, we could see the silhouettes of the pack gathered in a twisted ceremony. With the ritual items in hand and the words of the ancient priest guiding us, we prepared to disrupt the unholy convergence and reverse the curse. But our plan was not as secret as we hoped. The pack's leader, a once respected village elder now twisted by demonic influence, sensed our presence. His eyes glowed with a malevolent fire as he ordered the werewolves to attack. A chaotic battle ensued, pitting human against beast, friend against transformed friend. The clash of steel, the cries of the wounded, and the roar of werewolves filled the night. We fought bravely, holding our ground, but we were outnumbered, and time was against us. The ritual to awaken the Master was nearing completion, and we had to act fast. In a daring move, I broke through the werewolf line, fighting my way to the ritual's heart, where the elder was chanting the final incantations. Dr. Wren, following closely, began the counter-ritual, her voice clear and strong, resonating with an ancient power that seemed to shake the very foundation of the church. The battle raged on, both sides aware that the outcome would determine not just the fate of Blackwood, but possibly the world. As the counter-ritual's power grew, the werewolves began to falter, their connection to the pack's leader weakening. The curse was unraveling, the bonds that held them breaking. Realizing that his plan was falling apart, the elder attacked me with unholy fury. Our struggle was fierce, a clash of wills, strength against strength, light against darkness. But I was driven by a righteous cause, fueled by a determination to save the village and those I had come to care about. With a final thrust of my blade, I defeated the elder, ending his twisted reign and shattering his connection to the Master. Simultaneously, Dr. Wren completed the counter-ritual, a bright pulse of energy emanating from the ritual site, washing over the village, cleansing it of the curse. The werewolves, released from their torment, reverted to their human forms, their eyes cleared of the feral madness that had consumed them. As dawn broke, the village of Blackwood was freed from its dark legacy. The curse was lifted, the pack was defeated, and the Master's awakening was prevented. In the days that followed, we helped the villagers rebuild, heal, and come to terms with the traumatic events. The secrets of Blackwood were sealed, the dark artifacts secured, and the village's future left in the hands of those who had proven their courage and integrity. Dr. Wren and I parted ways, our bond strengthened by the battle we had fought together. I knew that our paths would cross again, for the world was filled with shadows, and the battle against the darkness was never truly over. As I left Blackwood, I looked back one last time, the memories of the battle still fresh, the lessons learned still resonating. The village had been saved, But the cost had been high, the scars deep. Yet there was hope, a new beginning, a chance for redemption. I knew that my mission was far from over, that there were other villages, other curses, other battles to be fought. But I also knew that I was not alone, that there were others like me, willing to face the darkness, to seek the truth, to fight the good fight. For I am Alistair Saxon, a hunter of monsters, a warrior of light, a guardian of the shadows, and the shadows never rest.